Hi everyone, if you clicked on this video, it means that you're somewhat interested in restructuring consulting. This is my roommate Gene, who works at a big restructuring firm here in New York, and this is what he has to say about his profession. All right, so this is my roommate John Paul. You've seen him in previous videos. How are you, Gene?
Good.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
Nervous?
No. I'm good.
So I already told him that you're a restructuring consultant.
Yeah.
So to become a restructuring consultant, what do you have to study in college, or what did you study in college?
I studied economics. I majored in economics and I had a minor in history and accounting for finance. I don't think you have to study anything precisely, but I think it definitely helps having a background in some type of finance, or having just common business knowledge is, I think, pretty important coming into the job.
If someone in high school dreams with being a restructuring consultant, what would you tell them to study? Accounting, finance?
I would say definitely something along the lines of accounting. I think always helps. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's for some people, it's not for right. others. But anything that has like finance, accounting, economics, anything in that realm. But I would also encourage people to venture beyond that. And if you have any other interest, mine was history in college, so I did a history minor. So I would encourage people also to study those, because the more you know, the better. So
for sure. And in your day-to-day job, you wake up, put your Patagonia on. What do you do? Like, what does the day in a restructuring consultant, like what tasks do you get?
Yeah, almost everything is completely foreign to you. So
yeah,
the first couple of days you're completely lost, but little by little you get your bearings. And I mean, most of the work at my level, and when you start, you're working on like Excel, working on PowerPoints, and all that's coming from like guidance from your bosses. They'll tell you, look, we want this, we want to show the client this. And it's also based on like what you find in the numbers, like telling the story. Look, this is why they're here. This is what they're projected to do in the next, I don't know, whatever X time frame. And then this is what we recommend you to do right now because of all this. Okay. That's usually what you do. So it's like Excel, PowerPoint, and then also a lot of like data management, like going through files, reading stuff.
So basically reading stuff, analyzing numbers in Excel, and then making it into a digestible format in PowerPoint, making it into a pretty PowerPoint.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's mostly what I do, and I feel like it's a lot of what a lot of entry jobs consist of. Yeah. And what qualities have you seen in like people that succeed in restructuring consulting? Is it what you mentioned before, that you have good attitude, smile on your face, work hard, or are there also like technical skills that you see in those people?
Since what I do and what you do is we're consultants. At the end of the day, we're a client-serving business. Yeah. And being personable and being able to connect with people, relate to them, create meaningful connections is extremely important. I mean, the more senior you get in these jobs, the more of a sales position you technically have, because you're essentially just selling a service. Yep. And people below you do all the work, but you're selling the service. And then, so I think that's a skill that I've seen that my bosses have that always impresses me, that it's like how good they are with our clients, how quickly they can, they connect with them and they have lunches here, they take a client out here. So I think that's a very important skill to have. So being personable. And I think at the end of the day, it's just like being a hard worker. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter if you don't understand something, you understand something very well. It always goes a long way if you're lost, if you're asking questions and you're showing that you're trying. At the end of the day, everyone will value hard work. Yep. And also, like, even if you know everything and you can do all the work, which is usually not the case, but even in the case, people still value the effort being put in, because at the end of the day, effort leads to results. And
if you have those two things, even if you're not good with Excel, that's fine, because that's something that you can learn. Having a good attitude is more innate. So
and also
I agree with you 100%.
Not only with clients, but also important in the teams, like within your company, like being able to be a good coworker, being friends, apart from being coworkers, like that goes a really long way. Because at the end of the day, if you're gonna be working 12 hours a day, you'd rather be doing it with a friend than with a stranger. So it's always good to.
And if you have any question about something you haven't done, you can always reach out to someone internally in your company to ask a question that they might know. Yeah. So if you decide to stay, you have your career in restructuring consulting, but what do people normally do when they get bored, when they want to take the next step? Yeah. Do they go into private equity? Do they go into banking? Do they go into a smaller restructuring firm?
restructuring consulting is something that's pretty niche.
Yep.
But from there, you can expand to many places. And I know there are some people who stay within the restructuring consulting world their whole life. There is such thing as restructuring investment bankers. So people go that route. Some people decide to work in distressed investment funds, which are like some of the big private equity funds like Apollo. That's what they're really known for.
Okay.
So there's private equity funds that only invest in distressed assets, and that's what they do. And usually those are like the three main areas that are directly like restructuring related.
And last thing, you've already touched on this, but what would you tell yourself when you first were starting the job? Because we're all anxious when we're starting, we want to do our best job.
Yeah.
We don't know what's coming. What would you tell yourself if you could go back in time and have a conversation?
The first thing would be not to stress. It's very hard.
I agree, yeah.
And it's very easy to get really involved in the day-to-day things and you know, it's a Sunday and you're already stressed out about what's going to happen during the week, or, you know, all the work that you have for tomorrow, and you get anxious and everything. And at the end of the day, my dad always says, like, stress kills. It's always like in the moment, it's the biggest deal.
Yeah.
And then a week later, it's like, okay, I'm done. And then it's like it's cycle repeats itself. So just remember, you've been there before. It's all worked out, and it all will work out, and it'll be fine. And even in the case that it doesn't work out, it won't be the end of the world. Like,
no one's gonna die because we're not doctors.
Yeah. And thankfully, like, I don't think I'm that stressed all the time, but sometimes I am stressed, and I feel like it affects my life. So
yeah,
that's definitely something to keep in mind. Like, try not to stress out. And it's also a product of just being like caring about the job.
Caring about it.
Yeah, wanting to do a good job. And I think the other piece of advice I would give anyone that's starting, like, ask questions. I think ask questions, not be afraid to ask questions, and like show an interest for what you're doing, because I think it goes a long way with your superiors.
Yep.
And it'll help you at the end of the day. The more you know, the better. So
yeah,
as long as you can try to remember that it'll be okay, take things slow, like it's not the end of the world, the better.
For sure. So thank you, James. I appreciate your knowledge. I'm gonna leave your email there so people can connect with you.
Drop it.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.